The Padres have been stinking it up lately. Is it Xander Bogaerts' fault?
Did he fart? Because that's when you saw Manny going like this.
Is it Jeremiah Estrada's fault? Suarez's fault? Mike Schilt's fault?
It's not my fault.
D, all of the above, everyone except for Machado's fault. Well, we'll talk about that all and more tonight on Padres Talking Padres. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Padres Talking Padres, your favorite podcast hosted exclusively by fathers. My name is Jay. With me tonight is Jack and Jerry. Hopefully, Jack and I can hang in there because is the storm hitting you yet, Jack? We got thunder rolling over us right now.
I haven't heard it. Just banged my knee. I need a rubber desk. So
Sure. I think you need just a rubber knee. I'm gonna wrap you in bubble wrap, I guess.
You might as well. I'm a today's child.
Also, guys, what are you doing with your headphones?
Who, me?
Yes, I'm sticking in your ears sideways.
I can hear better that way. It's louder. This way, I can barely hear it. This way, it's louder.
Oh my gosh, you guys are killing me.
When you're using Q-tips, you're supposed to stop once you're getting a little resistance.
Is that what you're supposed to do? Well, these I can't sync up to my computer. They won't sync.
Jared's like he's got a stethoscope or something. He's here to.
Oh boy!
I'm seeing if the Padres have a heart.
A pulse.
Guess what I found out? No heart, no pulse.
Oh my God!
They're sleeping with the fishes.
Excited to be here, Jerry. How are you doing? We got one headphone on. Jerry's got one out, one in.
Yeah, it allows me to not hear the echo and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's
more comfortable.
That's transistor radio, old school.
Yeah. Hey, I used to listen to the Padre games while I was doing the grease pencil scorekeeping for bowling. Back in the day when I was going to school. So yeah. Me and our buddy Phil. Yeah, that's what we used to do. We used to keep the score and then listen to the Padres on the radio. Well, he listened to the Dodgers. So.
I would listen to the Padres on the radio when I was going to sleep.
I would listen to Dodgers if the Padres weren't playing.
Yeah.
We got Oz here. Oz is in the chat. Good to see you, Oz.
Does Oz have a heart? Let me see.
Oz is the sweetest out of all of us. She always thinks we're gonna go.
Oh, okay, Oz, you're okay. Yeah. You're okay. If you're joining us late, then you don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, let's just dive into it. Okay, because I believe all of our predictions for this week did not come true.
Just a bit outside.
We all said 4-3.
Yeah.
Instead, we got 1-6, 1-5.
1-5 so far. Yeah.
1-5 so far. But we've kind of been in every game save for maybe the first Diamondbacks game and the first Dodger game. But just the little things. I think, Jack, you said that yesterday on your Twitter and to a chat that you and I had that Jerry was not a part of. That's just the Dodgers doing the little thing.
Ding, ding.
For those that know what we're talking about, we have a group chat that we usually talk it through during the games. And sometimes Jerry does like a trivia night or something, and he says, "Hey, don't include me on the chat." Well, he didn't do that last night. And for some reason, like Jack and I were just like going back and forth a lot.
Well, I hadn't been on the chat in a couple of days.
Yeah, you took a couple of nights off.
So I was like, I had a lot.
It was noticeably quiet. I know I'll say that. Yeah.
I was on Sunday. I was all by myself. So I was sending myself messages, and I even put a meme up there that said "all by myself."
And then just Jared's like, "Please stop,
stop texting me now."
For those that you don't know, when Jack is joining on the chat, it's pitch by pitch. When it's me and Jay, it's more half inning by half inning.
Exactly. It's kind of like, is it relevant in this moment?
Little summarizing.
Hey, Arai just swung at a pitch that hit him. Wow. I mean, that's topical. I'm sorry. Well, if you guys don't know, I'm a pitch count guy, so I'm watching the pitch count. And
did you know that, Jay?
I would have had a lot.
I didn't know. Whoa.
Even in Cease's start, to be fair, I think a faster outfielder could have got that ball landed in front of him. I mean, it is what it is, but I thought Sheets had some bad luck that inning too. I mean, the play where Cronenworth pulled a rise off the back, I think that's set because let's face it, Cease he's a head case, right? We can say that. I mean, he's a nice guy.
He's the right-handed Snell.
Yeah, and when you could see his expression when that play wasn't an out, because it would have been the second out, he just was like he was a different pitcher going into the rest of that inning, and it took it. He can't snap out of it, and it's to me it's frustrating. But he's got so much time. I mean, he struck the first 5 guys out.
That is what's really frustrating about Cease. But my hope is we call him the right-handed Snell. Maybe he'll be second half Snell, second half Cease.
But will it be for the Padres?
That's true. Anyway. That's true. All right. So, kind of a rough go of it. I believe we've all had crises of faith this past week or so on different days. And we've all picked each other up on different days. So I'm just like, screw this team. I'm done.
Saturday was tough.
Yeah. Let's work through this like it's therapy. Okay.
I mean, Friday we couldn't hit to save our lives. Right. I think we scored one. We scored in the first inning and didn't score again. Yeah. We had a run taken off the board, and I saw the explanation of the rule. It's the correct call, but still, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah. So, game 2, we're down. But then we have a couple big innings. We're finally leading with a cushion, like a 4-run lead into the 9th.
7-3.
And then something that's well known about the Diamondbacks is they crush right-handed pitching. They have 75 left-handed hitters, and they all hit well. And Suarez just got hit hard, hit after hit after hit. He had Morejon warmed up in the pen, but for some reason, Mike Schilt left him out there to go into the heart of that left-handed murderer's row from the Diamondbacks. And sure enough, ended up losing the game, even though they had a 4-run lead.
Well, he struck out Carroll with the bases loaded.
He did.
And 1 out, but you could clearly see he didn't have it. He just didn't have it.
Fastball.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a 7th, 8th, and 9th hitters that all got singles off him.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, gentlemen,
and Bogaerts, to be fair, made a really good play.
Oh, phenomenal!
But it was just a hair. It was. I mean, it was a bang play, but he was safe. It was the correct. They overturned it. It would have been the Padres. They would have overturned it. I'm not complaining, but it's facts.
It is what it is.
And like I said, I was like, if you get that out, we probably win the game. But
I guess what's our general? What was our pulse check? How are we feeling after that, Jared? How are you feeling after that? Oh, you turned it off if I remember correctly. You left the room
when he let the first 2 guys on. So I'm gonna
both with 2 strikes.
I'm gonna put my general complaint out there. I have lost confidence in Mike Schiltz managing the bullpen. I have lost total confidence.
And you're a Mike Schiltz guy.
No, I am. I think I think he's a player's manager. Obviously, he's got a great clubhouse and all that. But I seriously question his bullpen use, who he's putting out there, when he's pulling the starters, which is a big thing for me because, you were talking about the pitch count a little bit, Jack.
Yeah.
I know, I'm not a total pitch count guy, but when you're pulling starters and you're complaining about how your bullpen is overworked, I don't know. Yeah. There's a solution to that. I know these are young arms, but come on, these guys are 60 and 70. Let them go to 80, especially if they're rolling along.
Yeah.
So the Vasquez decision when he pulled him out,
that's twice. That's 3 times.
But it's been more than that because it's been basically the whole season.
I think it's been the last 3. I think it's the last 3 times.
But I mean, it's been the whole season though, because I don't know if they've just predetermined that Vasquez is only good for 5. I'd rather lose by finding out something about my team than to just keep doing these knee-jerk reactions. And then I just don't like the predetermined. I've never been a fan of that. I get it. These guys all, I don't know. I've never had a pitcher, at least on TV or in an interview, talk about how they really like their role, like they want to know their role. I've never heard that from the pitchers. Maybe it's true. I don't know. But this predetermined, this guy comes in the 7th, this guy comes in the 8th, this guy comes in the 9th. I watch a lot of baseball. I don't see other managers doing that. They go lefty, righty, who's ready, who's this, and you don't see the same guys all the time. And I think it's also dangerous because you just keep putting the high leverage guys out there time and time and time again. They're going to get hit. So, yeah.
And I think they're a little worn out.
Of course they are, except for the Dodgers. I think we got the most innings, and the Dodgers only because they basically have a bullpen game about every other day. So
yeah,
they've had but back to back. I mean, they've been just having almost exclusively bullpen games.
That's what I'm saying, except for Yamamoto, and then at the beginning of the season when you had Glasnow and Snell and a few others. But yeah, lately they're just piecing it together. And I'm sorry, Dave Roberts is not a rocket scientist. It's like he's just trumping guys out there, and it's working for him.
Dodgers have some dumb blind luck on their side at the moment, and
they don't need it either. They're a really good team.
Well, to be fair, it's a lot easier when you know your team's going to score runs.
That's true.
I mean, you look at the all the way through their lineup, except maybe Conforto, they all hit.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're a pitcher, you can't take an inning off. You can't take a batter off because it's boom, boom, boom. So if I'm Dave Roberts, what do I care if my reliever gives up 3 or 4 runs? My team's going to score 4 or 5 runs, 6 runs.
Yeah.
So it's again, you said it's not rocket science. I have the best offensive team.
Yeah. Yeah, and most teams to that point, you guys, they go in waves, right? So I try to remember last year a little bit. Remember the first month, and the bullpen was just killing us. I mean, they were just getting hammered, giving up games and everything. And you got this, the second month, and all of a sudden the bullpen straightens out, but now the hitting kind of dies. And we got to the first half, and we got to the All-Star break 50-50, and we're thinking, man, do we make the playoffs or whatever? Well, then what happened? Well, for the next 62 games and they're on, except for the last 2 games of the postseason, they were in tune. It was just like everything was working, and most teams go through stretches like that if you're fortunate to have a good team. Right now, we're out of sync, right? The starting pitching pitches good. We can't get any offense. The offense, scores some runs, and that's the time that the starter gives up 5 runs, that rarity that we do. To your point, the Dodgers are just good enough. It's like, you know what? They don't have to be in sync because they can score 10 runs in one game, like the snap of a finger.
Well, look at the bottom of their lineup is killing us.
Yeah. Well, you were making a remark about the Arizona game, 7, 8, 9 getting on for Arizona, and I almost chuckle. It's like, wow, what's that like?
Yeah, it is. I think
I will take 7, 8, or 9 getting on. On an inning.
You compare this team to this year's team to last year's team. Last year's team, you got production from the catcher, and your left fielder was Profar. He was carrying the team at one point.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting production.
In fairness, he was hitting second though. So
but we had a left fielder that was producing.
Well, what my point is at the bottom of the lineup, kind of what we're referring to, 7, 8, 9. So there's no doubt about it. Last year it was better. I'm just saying it wasn't the same combination.
And this year, it literally got 4 or 5 guys on the team. Is Jerry? Your argument's always next guy up, which I've always been a believer in. Problem is, you got 4 guys. I look at, I'm like going, I couldn't believe I was shocked. I go, Bryce Johnson's still in baseball, and we brought him back. Didn't we see enough of him last season? And again, he's a Padre. I'm going to root for him. I hope he hits 500. I hope he says, Jack, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm a major league player. I don't see it. And then you got Lockridge yesterday, and I'm like going, okay, like last week, you have 2 jobs to do: run the bases and defense, because you're not a hitter.
Oof.
And he's butchering the outfield. And yesterday, I maybe because running the bases was the best thing I did in baseball when I was playing. I knew how to run the bases. Why is he not running to second base? Mm-hmm. Even if it was a Pajes, if he catches the ball, he's going away from the plate. You're still going to get back to first base.
So I'll disagree with that, guys, because I know it was going to come up.
Hold on. Before you jump in, let's lock it. Because I do want to jump into that. Okay, but I don't want to jump all over the place because we're still talking about the Schultz relief management.
Bullpen. Okay.
Okay, because I do want to dive into that. It's a big deal. So bullpen, Jerry, you're saying it's terrible. It's suspect. I agree.
I just don't like that. It's been the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it's panic. I don't know if it's panic or the fact that we're playing a lot of division games. I just feel like his hook is a lot quicker than it needs to be.
He makes Sparky Anderson look like a guy that just was.
He's quick for the starters, but slow on the relievers. And
yes,
that's fair enough. Yeah,
and he doesn't like even in that situation. The Diamondbacks crush right-handed pitching, and I get Suarez is your guy, and I get that he is 21 saves, right? Leads the National League in saves, right? But it's just they hit him hard. The 7-8-9 hit him hard, and he struck out Carroll, which is great. But you need to pull him there. And then the previous Dodgers series, to your point, it's only the fourth inning. I don't even think he got through the fifth, but Vasquez had only 60 pitches or something like that.
Yeah, 4 2/3.
Like
4 2/3.
Why are we jumping into the high leverage relievers in freaking June? Like, what are we doing here? Like, and I love Schilt wanting to win every single game, right? He's not Dave Roberts. He doesn't punt games. He wants to make an effort to win every single game, and I respect
which I'm for.
But that was just silly. Like, and I get why this is why they're pulling Vasquez early. They say third time through, OPS 900, average
312 average.
Then go find another starter, because you can't keep doing that to the kid either. You're putting in his head, oh crap, I'm gonna be pulled this inning. I mean, I'm sorry, he has to be thinking that.
Look at Sheets. He's platoon forever because his splits, right? Righties versus lefties.
Right.
But you've actually left him in there because he earned that opportunity, and he's starting to hit lefties better, right? Like, how you got to give players a chance to, actually get better at something, and you need to give your relief anyway. So it seems like a win-win, but no, pull him early, bring in Jeremiah Estrada, who's way overused, right? And you can tell he's tired. And again, even was it last night or the night before you bring in Estrada, and he doesn't have his splitter down, and when you're pitching against a team that's great against the fastball, especially Will Smith, and you're just throwing him fastballs, even if you're going 100, Will Smith's going to catch up, and all he has to do is just make decent contact, and that's leaving the yard at 100 miles an hour on that pitch.
Yeah, so, we've talked before, the Dodgers are a power hitting team.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what needs to change for Schilt there. I hope it changes. I hope it changes soon. Because, again, I love Schilt as well. I think he is fundamentally changed the culture.
I think it's a case to me of baseball has done this shift over the last probably 10, 15 years towards analytics and everything. And I'm one of those guys, and I think you guys know, I used to be an analyst in one of my jobs. And so I get an analysis, but we used to have this saying is that too much analysis causes paralysis, and it truly can. If you start using it and depending on it too much, it just becomes a way of life, and it's not necessarily correct. Mm-hmm. I think you have to have a good sense for your players. I think you have a good sense for the analysis, and you gotta mix the two together.
Sure.
And I think there is something to be said about player confidence. To Jack's point, you can't just keep pulling somebody when it's time for trouble to come in and things like, oh, Ohtani's coming up, we got to get him out of there. No,
he's going to start. He's going to start.
He already got him out twice.
Yeah.
I mean, so it'd be different to me, like we were saying about Pages. Was Cease, right? Gave the 2 home runs to Pages, and you're just like, okay, next time. No, it was Vasquez. I am sorry, Vasquez the last time. And it's like, yeah, don't let him face him again. Like he's, it's one of those nights.
Clearly,
one of those players.
Whatever,
just get him out of there.
Or pitch around
when you get to him. But that was going to be later on anyway. And so, it's not an always thing with Sheldon. And that's the one thing I always like to say that we're talking about in this. We got to watch how much generalities we have, because sometimes it's not an overwhelming, like it's all the time problem. There are instances of it. And that's the way I feel about Schilt. I'm not here damning that he doesn't know how to run a bullpen at all, but there's been some very questionable ones in the last couple of weeks, and I'm just not comfortable with some of the moves that he's made, and I'm trying not to be the Monday morning quarterback. I'm saying it at the time, like, gosh, why are you doing? We were texting, and then it's like, why are we pulling Vasquez here?
Yeah.
Like 60 pitches. So what? So he's going to pitch to Ohtani. He's got him out twice already. So things like that. And then the last thing, the Suarez with Arizona. After I don't care. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your biggest star pitcher on the team. He's given up 3 hits in a row. He doesn't have it that
dribblers, not seeing I
He
singles.
doesn't have it that night. It's okay to say that to the guy when you pull him. Hey, you just don't have your best stuff tonight. You know?
All 3 were with 2 strikes.
Yeah.
All 3 hits were with 2 strikes, and the pitch is right down the middle. I'm like going.
And that's what I mean, though. He doesn't have his stuff. He doesn't. He doesn't have his control. So I don't know what the angst is to being able to go to your best pitcher or your best reliever and say, "Hey, Robert, you just don't have it tonight. We're gonna bring in Morejon." And if you say it right, it ain't gonna be a problem. So yeah.
No, I agree. I agree completely. Okay, let's go to last night. We were down 3-1 in the 9th inning. I had already went to sleep because it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Also, can we stop? Like, I hate the Dodgers, right? That's just by default. Their stadium, I think it is a nice stadium, and I've been to it a few times. I will say that.
But okay.
The fact there's no public transportation and it's absolute hell to get in and out of that damn Chavez Ravine.
That's a nightmare. And
because of that, they have to start the games at 7:10, no matter what, apparently. They don't have day games or something. 3-7 on the East Coast, that's 3 10-10s in a row. These games aren't ending until 1 o'clock.
And tonight, the same thing. I thought it was going to be, I said, it's going to be an early game.
Exactly. No, 7:10.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And just to kind of rub it in, I don't know how much they have to say with it. I think they have a lot to say with it as far as what time the game is played. It just happens to be getaway day for the Padres. So let's make them. But also, kind of a red eye back home, even though it's only an hour.
To be fair to the Dodgers, and I hate to say this, but it takes a while to get into the stadium.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying.
They can't start it. They can't stand it. It can't start it early because that's what they always say. They arrive in the 3rd, leave in the 7th. Well, and I went back and because I was like Jay, I said I got to go to sleep. I'm exhausted, and so I woke up and saw that they lost. So I went back and watched. Like I just turned it on like the 8th inning on, and I noticed there were a lot of Dodger fans gone because they got to get out of there because they don't want to get home at 3 a.m. But anyway,
so mount this comeback, and Xander Bogaerts made a thumbnail of him today. Bogey bust that poor man. That poor man on Twitter. Good Lord.
I love the guy. I want to root because he doesn't complain. He went to second base last season, didn't complain. People say he's the hardest worker on the team. It's just not. It's
weird. Like he has all these underlying metrics of saying he's doing everything right. It's just
line drive.
Huh?
He is hitting some line drives.
Yeah,
I'm not making him out to be perfect, guys.
Except when runners are on base.
Look, the underlying problem is I'm tired of picking on Bogey. And the reason is because there's like 9 other guys that share what's going on. It is not a Bogey problem. It is a team problem from Machado down and Machado up. Nobody besides Machado is having anywhere close to what their normal career is.
I can't argue with that. But people are going to pick on it's the double plays that I think he's hitting 190.
Manning hits a double plays too. So
I know, but he's hitting 190 with runners in scoring.
Okay.
I get it.
Hold on.
I get it, guys.
Let's hold on. This is spicy, okay?
Bogey spiciness.
Why is everybody always picking on me? So Xander Bogaerts, I think why he gets the most animosity, because you're right, Jerry, that there's plenty of other blame to go around, right? Machado. You're doing it right. Yeah, it's the money. And so that is why people are all bent out of shape. But I will say this, and I've said it all season. When we got him, it's like, well, his defense so, but he's a solid hitter. He's going to be a good hitter, And so he's almost had the inverse of that this season, at least.
This season has been his best
phenomenal shortstop. He is running the bases incredibly well. There's a bunch of steals.
Well, when he gets on. and so it is, I think, just that it's that clutch gene, and I think especially he had the reputation of being clutch. And so I think there's just there's that expectation
and maybe still frustration from that 2023 season when we were a stacked team, had Juan Soto, Tatis coming back, and there's still a bit of a bad taste. And I think that
I get it. Like I said, I get it. I'm not. It's not that I'm not frustrated with Bogey.
It's not Bogey's fault, because
there's a lot. Because do you realize, if you believe in the stats, that Bogaerts has our 4th highest WAR on the team on offense?
That's a shocker. 4th highest. So it's what?
So we were saying we're pretty bad. Our offense is pretty bad.
You got Tatis at 3.4. You got Machado at 2.7. You got Jackson Merrill at 1.1, and you got I apologize, the 5th highest. You got Gavin Sheets at 0.7, and then you got Bogaerts at 0.3.
Yeah.
How is Tatis ahead of? It must have been that first 6 weeks.
April was insane.
Yeah, the same reason Merrill's up there. Between the two of them, the first 2 weeks, remember Merrill was hitting 460 when he went on the IL. It carries a long time. So there's been a lot of tossing around of the topic of what how to fix the Padres. And I listen to the radio. You guys know that a lot. Coming and going, and there seems to be 3 different sets out there.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, add on. Let's add on. A little piece, as they call it. We need a left fielder, need a catcher. Some people just kind of seem to focus on just that. Then you got the people that say, no, you got to go big. You gotta go big. You gotta sell out the farm system again, except for a guy named DeVries and maybe Salas. But you gotta go get somebody that's gonna fix this, because it's more than just that. It's bench strength. It's everything else. So that's the mega trade where we're gonna get 3 players back that are gonna play, not just one guy, right? And then lately, there's been, should we be selling? Should we let Cease go? Should we let King go? Should these guys who are going to walk at the end of the year?
I don't think King's going to come back this year.
I don't think any of them are going to come back next year, is my big thing. And even if they do, come back this year, is that enough?
Well, I'm saying you can't trade. How can you trade King if
King's not really trading?
Oh, you could still trade him. You might not get as much for him.
Preller got in trouble with that once before. I don't think he can do that again.
I'm just saying though, so those are the 3 schools of thoughts, and they're all valid, quite honestly, because as you were saying, Jay, earlier, it's like we've all been in the woe is me, being a Padre fan, lately, and I try to after I get done. Hot texting, as I call it, or I'm just, in the moment.
Sometimes I want to pour water on
kind of things. And so to me, I think the latter one is true, is like to fix this team, to really fix this team and to make it a playoff type team. You need a lot more than just an average left fielder and an average catcher. I think you need a lot more than that. And I'm not willing to go down that road again. I'd rather be the seller. I'd rather say, you know what? It didn't work out this year. Let's get some pieces that we can start putting together 2026. That's my thoughts.
Okay, I would say, Jack, where do you sign?
I would say the people that are saying go big, go big, go big are the same ones complaining about Robert Woods, Abrams, and
James
Woods.
James Woods. Robert Hassel III is the
Well, the 4 guys that but not so much Hassel. I mean, you look at Woods today. He had 4 RBI. He's at 60 RBIs, and again, I was okay with the trade, so I can't complain. I'm just, I thought it was it built a huge fan base getting Soda, and we have
sold out games since that trade.
Yeah, and you have to say okay, but then the problem is, like Jerry's saying, if we go, the reason we have guys like Lockridge and Brooks and Wade and who's the other guy? Who's the other guy?
Because we got rid of our positional player depth.
We don't have anybody in the minors. We've tried. There's nobody that can come up and play, and it's killing us. So you got to decide. Would I be excited if the Padres went out and made a big, huge trade? Yes, because I'd say I'm playing for this year. I'm playing for this year, but I'm not going to be the one on Twitter complaining that they went and did that trade. I'd be, how often do you have a chance to win the World Series? They have the pitching somewhat. But again, and I wouldn't be mad if they traded Cease, if they traded Arise, if they could get something for Arise. I would have no problem with them trading pieces that aren't Suarez. I'd have to trade them. I would be no problem with that either. If you're going to build, all right, let's get a couple prospects. Let's start building that farm system back up. And then you're going to also reduce the payroll, which I would hope maybe they go out and get a left fielder that's a proven left fielder with some pop, play for next year. I'm okay with either one, but they got to do something, because I can't take these guys on the team that should not be playing Major League Baseball and playing every single day.
So I am in the just get a left fielder and a catcher, because I still think we're a playoff caliber team.
Well, today, if the season today, we'd be in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. And so I know this is a bad stretch.
Thank you, Bryce Johnson.
I know this is a bad stretch, but that happens in baseball. The Yankees just snapped a 6-game losing streak. We were at this point in the season last year, we were 2 games under 500.
Yep.
And we ended up having one of the best seasons in the history of the franchise. So
one of the best teams in the history of the franchise.
So like we're talking about, like, hey, I would just take an 8 hitter that, at the 7, 8, 9, I'd take an 8, that could actually hit the ball. And so like it's really not that far off, and so it's a long season. And I just don't think trading, because Cease isn't playing that well. King might not come back, and Arise isn't playing that well. So what are we getting in return for those players for half a season when we could be crushing it the second half of the season and going into the playoffs? Because we already have a playoff spot now. Like we were never in this division.
You say that though, Jay, and you got to remember that there's a lot of people are saying the same thing about going in, go get Luis Robert, right? Well, he's hitting $170, but yet everybody thinks that's the solution. Like, let's go get him, and that'll make the difference. I'm just saying though. I'm going to make you eat your words a little bit here from past. It's like sometimes a change of scenery, right?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that nobody would want Arise at 280
timeout
or C's,
nobody having some them. I'm not saying nobody would want them, but much like Luis Robert. Yeah. The White Sox aren't going to get as much as if he was hitting 400, 900 OPS.
Absolutely.
So what I'm saying is that you can trade them, sure, and you will get pieces back, sure. But that's not Preller's move. That's not his play.
And I'm not thinking he's going to do it, Jay. That's the thing I want to make sure I'm clear on.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I would be more likely to look and see what I could sell versus what I can get. I'm going to look at both, but I think the chances are that I could sell better than I can buy.
We didn't trade Snell when we knew that season 23 was doomed.
And Josh Hader.
And we knew both. And Josh Hader, the clubhouse hated him. We all hated him. So we knew Josh Hader was coming back, and we knew Blake Snell wasn't coming back. Not even close to the same seemingly good relationship that and connection Cease and King.
But I think we had a chance for the play, and we almost pulled it off.
We did by 2 games, wildly enough, So that's what I'm just like, it was 6 wild card spots. And with this team and what it is capable of, and the superstars that are on this team, and sure, maybe Machado's the only one living up to that. Machado's having himself just a dandy of a season. Best season as a Padre, really.
Offensively, yes.
But even he's had some bad games, but not like terrible.
No, he still makes plays.
Machado could make 20 errors, and I'd still say he's one of the best defensive third basemen there are.
Yeah, just his arms
and shortstop. To be fair,
I mean, he's great. Yeah, he did great there too. But anyway, I don't see Preller doing, but also I don't think we need to do it because we're not going to get anything back. And even if they don't re-sign, that's a bunch of payroll coming off the books. Cease is 14 million, Arise 14 million, Kings 7 million, Hosmer's 14 million coming off the books. So
Hosmer's had a terrible year.
It's terrible, just terrible. Well, he played for the Savannah Bananas in Kansas City. Saw that. But so
there are folks out there saying that Hosmer's how you want to say it? Hosmer's claim to having the worst contract ever by the Padres has been surpassed by Xander Bogaerts.
But you know what? Hosmer couldn't defend. His hitting was terrible, and his defense was terrible. At least Xander's playing.
It wasn't in the beginning. To be fair to Hosmer, he was pretty.
No, I know he had a couple of good years. Yeah,
offensively, he was productive. He was smacking some home runs. The last couple of years, he looked like he didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah,
I mean,
we could get into a whole discussion about the long-term contracts because that you guys know my feel on that, man. I cringe every time any team signs these guys for 10 and 12-year contracts. They're just like, man, you're putting a lot on the plate.
I got to be honest. When they signed Bogaerts, I was like, sure, what the hell? We got an owner spending money. Spend. Yeah. I mean, I felt like a Dodger fan a Dodger Yankee fan for a few minutes.
One off season.
Yeah. So can we feed off of that because you reminded me of something I should write this stuff down. What was your feelings when the Giants got Devers and you find out that the Padres had inquired?
I said, and they gave up nothing.
Well, because they took on the full $300 million.
I get it, but
so that's where I want to go. Does that indicate that the money bag is still there? Because I don't think that the Padres. I mean, we don't know. And I was talking. I actually called in on the radio and talked to the guys on the radio.
Oh, did you?
The other day.
So you're cheating.
And I asked them, and I did ask them the question. Two-timers, sorry. But I did ask the question, doesn't that just kind of
storms here
make you feel better as a Padre fan, knowing that at least they inquired? Now, we won't know. We'll probably never know, the details, kind of things like that. Preller might have just been, kind of picking up the phone or answered the phone and said, no, I'm not paying all the salary. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
But maybe there was something where he was going to, hey, if we'll pay half, if you pay half, or
exactly. I think that's probably what they're trying to be like. Can you?
Or
pay half? You take Bogaerts.
They were asking for DeVries, or something like that, So, but just the fact that Preller was on the phone and inquiring about a superstar, it is encouraging.
It is encouraging, yes.
Because I think you guys have hit some good points here. We're taking a lot of payroll off for next year. Not just Hosmer, it's the Hassan Kim. God, what is it? You got King, who would be $18 million, which we'd gladly pay if he would stay.
Yeah.
Arise at 14. Dylan Cease at 20, I think it is.
Suarez,
so Suarez is 10. So you got a lot of payroll going away.
Also, go ahead, finish your thought.
Yeah, but the problem is now what you replace it, and I keep going back to this. I think we've talked about it before. What I do like about our team is our bullpen is cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It's
we got more waiting in the minors.
Yeah, too. So having an inexpensive bullpen for the next 3 or 4 years. Some guys are leaving, but man, for a lot of these guys, they're not even to ARB yet, or they're an ARB 1, So we have a very cheap bullpen, and then Vasquez. Now you got Bogaerts, you got Kolek. These guys are all cheap. So you got 3 starters. You already got Musgrove, and I don't know if Darvish ever comes back. I don't know if he ever pitches for the Padres again. I don't know. But the bottom line is you have an underlying cheaper pitching staff, and you could spend some money on the offense.
Yep.
I was going to say about Darvish, even if he comes back this season, I love Darvish. I think he's a class guy.
Yep.
When he's in there, he keeps you in the games. He eats up innings.
Yep.
But this is the second season in a row. I think the season before that, he was out for a while. He's got a lot of mileage on that arm. Is there a way we can get a settlement deal with him and say, okay, hey, and just wipe his contract off the books? Because I'm sure, well, there's a lot of these guys are insured.
Yeah.
So if you get that off the books, say maybe he would take a settlement deal. Say, are we going to deal with this for the next 4 years? Will he pitch? Will he not pitch? Will he pitch? Will he not pitch?
I think if you were ever going to have a guy that would be that honest, it would be Darvish.
Yeah, I believe he would be.
I mean, he's the kind of guy that if he felt like he's never going to be able to pitch again, I don't know if he just says I'm not going to have you pay anything, but
he did.
But I still think that would be rare. I really think he thinks he's going to pitch again. So
when he stepped away last season for personal reasons, the Padres offered to pay him. He said no.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. If there's ever a guy, this would be him. But yeah,
So I like I said, if he could pitch, great, because he's a great pitcher.
Big game pitcher.
Big game pitcher too. Again, and he's that guy. He's not, he's not being taken out of the fifth inning. He's going 7 innings. He's saving your bullpen, and that's the thing with Musgrove too. They're both inning eaters. So yeah, I'm just saying, if he can't pitch anymore, it'd be nice to get his contract off the books.
Which is what we'd like these young guys to be able to prove that they can be inning eaters.
Yeah, and again, I
not to tread over that again, but that's a great point. It's like it's a great bullpen if you don't have to use it 4 innings every night.
Let's go to the Lockridge, because I said he should have scored, and you said you disagree.
Okay, do we finalize? We're all good. Okay, yes, let's go to that. So last night, bases loaded. No, we got second fly.
It was first and second.
So it was first and second. Bogey, who has got a lot of heat for having choking when the pressure's on its highest. Well,
he was smoking.
He got himself a ringing double out to center. And to Jack's point, one of the main reasons you have Lockridge on the team is he is fast. He's only on the bases because he swapped out with Sheets, right? To run. And this isn't on Leaper because he got a terrible jump. He was in between first.
He kind of stopped.
He stopped and then went. How are you not at home when you're the fastest runner?
And let's the team captain and the leader of this team.
He's yelling at him,
pissed that he didn't score.
He has every right to be pissed.
So anyway, especially if you see that the first replay, it's hard to tell, but when you see the other replay, you're like going, "What the heck is he doing?" I'll say this. I'll say, how old is he? 26, 27, whatever he is.
He's old enough to know better.
At that age, I could have scored from first base. Just say I could have done because I would have been running.
All right, so I'm going to call you guys out, and if you look at the video again, I'm going to call you guys out. You guys are absolutely wrong. He lost a half a step. They showed it from the home plate angle. He lost a half a step.
He stopped. He
not even close. He did not stop. He did a jump. He he stopped and then went right through it.
To pull up the tape.
Go ahead, pull up the tape.
If he's running at full speed, they're going to send him home.
He was running at full speed. He did a hop. Then what you guys call a stop.
Why does even the Dodgers announcer said he got a bad jump, bad read. Everyone's saying he got a bad read.
Not everybody. No, not everybody.
You did.
No, not just me. One of the radio personalities said after we looked at it again, he says, "Nope, he got a good jump."
I'm gonna disagree. He didn't.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna try to find the video.
All right.
I'm gonna try to find
with his speed. If he's running full speed from the start, he scores.
All right. So,
or at least it's a bang bang play at the plate.
Here's the question:
would have been better than the play where he runs when Freeman had the ball.
Mookie Betts had the ball in his hands when he hits third base.
Yeah, because he wasn't running full speed at first.
Come on, it was a split second. A split second is not 30 feet, guys. Come on. It's if the shortstop's got the ball in his hand and you're just reaching third base,
he's reaching split second because he got a bad read on the ball.
A split second. It's not like he stood there for 2 seconds, guys.
It's a game of inches and a game of seconds.
Yeah. All right.
That's what
We're going to agree to disagree because I don't blame him for it. I blame Iglesias for not putting the ball in the air on the next bat.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, I think I've got.
I agreed with the third base coach not sending him.
No, because he should have sent
Waterfront Hotel on Booking.
Thanks to our sponsor, Waterfront Hotel.
Yeah.
Booking.com.
Yeah. Booking gigs. There you go. Same ad they show 100 times. Let's see. Share screen.
This is the bad angle.
This is a beautiful hit, though. By the way,
yeah, it is. It is.
We're not really singing this angle, right?
No, it's not. This is the wrong angle.
Yeah.
Well, who has
there's one that shows it from the infield end. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe that's on the internet or something. Maybe here. Let's see.
No,
just bogey.
Just a beautiful pitch by a beautiful hit. See, I can give compliments.
Look at Manny's like, come on.
But if you read Manny's lips, he was.
No,
pissed.
he said it. I know he said it. They could be wrong too. I'm just saying. I did not get to see it live. Obviously, I was still doing my gig. But when I got home and I, looked at the recap and everything, and then one of the local guys put the other side and he says, "Wow, after looking at it from this angle, there's no way he should have been sent, and no way he should go. He did everything fine. There was too much blame put on that."
I'm going to disagree.
Hey, naked eye and versus replay. But anyway, go look it up. I'll look at it again. But
I've watched the replay like 10 times last night, and I'm like going, I don't know.
But if one play makes a difference, and I'm gonna disagree with you on the little things, Jack. It's the big things, because it's the big things we're losing on. It's not the little things.
Well, I'm saying
we got big problems. We really do. We got big problems.
Come on.
There's not little problems causing us to lose. You cannot hang by a thread every game.
Well, we don't have
to keep winning.
Well, we don't have the offense.
That's why I'm saying it's big problems. It's not.
But I'm saying, when you know you don't have, you're lacking somewhere. Like Tatis yesterday. Tatis catches that ball 99 times out of 100. Goes off his glove. He slips. Muncy gets a triple out of it. I mean,
that's baseball. You're not going to make it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the little things. Tatis normally catches.
No, I agree. That's why I don't think I agree with you, Jack. I don't think we have big problems. If we're in every game and we're losing by a run here or that's not
what
I'm
saying. It's every game, guys. It's every game. You guys are talking about that one. Because every game, it's big problems. Every game, it's the fifth through the ninth hitter that are causing us to lose.
But we've been saying
it's not the little things; it's the bigger things. I used to agree with you as the little things, but when you're doing it all year long, since their start, they're 4 games under 500. This is not a good team anymore. It's not a good team as they are playing.
Well, it's not as they are
situated. This is not a good team. This is not a good team. Even they're not even a 500 team after that. What was it? 13-2 start.
14-5. Here's the thing.
What I'm saying about little things, I'm saying you can't make mistakes knowing you have a week. See, the Dodgers can make all the mistakes they want.
They're a great team
because they have a great offensive lineup.
That's my point.
But we
That's
started.
My point, guys.
Jay and I started this season saying you can't have Hayward, you can't have Gurriel, all these guys we've had this problem with the bottom of the lineup. Yeah. All season. I've been saying if the top four don't hit,
right,
we don't win. I've been saying that all season.
That's a big thing, guys. That's the definition of a big thing. But half of your offense is not there. That's a big thing. If it were just the 8-9 or the 9, I could get it. Or if it's an occasional game where we're not doing the little things, it's every game. It's a problem.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
Because you're right. I would say sheets, like really, if you think about it, it's really just a couple hitting spots on the roster.
6, 7, 8, 9.
I think if Bogey kind of gets
Bogaerts, Cronenworth, whoever's in left field and catcher. Come on, argue with me, guys. Tell me I'm wrong on those 4 guys.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Can I say something?
Sure.
You've been making the case, Jerry, that it's the next guy up. The next guy up. I've been saying all season
there.
But that's what I've been saying. The next guy has to produce. I'm saying the next guy can't produce. You were always.
I'm telling you, you're right, Jack. There you go. I'm telling you, you're right. I'm now.
That's what I said.
The last 2 weeks have convinced me. The last 2 weeks have convinced me.
All right.
Here's the thing: is
all I needed to hear.
Maybe I was being too optimistic.
I really was trying to put it.
I was trying to be positive, thinking this is it. We're going against our division now. We look like absolute dog poop right now. It's bad. We look bad.
And it's putting too much pressure, like you said, on the relievers. Also the starters. They can't make a mistake. I'm not going to fix my
Thank you. I shouldn't have told him about it. Now he's going to stick him in his ear.
That's why I couldn't hear. Okay. All right. I'll leave him like this.
It's so weird. Okay. Here's the thing. Jerry, I don't like you not being positive. Okay, you're supposed to be.
Notice how red I am? I just noticed. It's like, man, I got a different shade on me right now.
You're supposed to be an counter to this guy over here. Okay,
I know it. I know it. No, I fell into the Jack groove right now.
You did.
I mean, it's just The last
You've
2
been
weeks.
around him too long.
The last
You know what
2
the
weeks
Jack groove
remind
is?
me.
Reality.
The last 2 weeks remind me of 2023. It just so reminds me of 2023 where you're like, that one still will be worse because we had the team, we had the players, right? This team frustrates me, and I'm frustrated with Schilt. I'm frustrated that Preller hasn't done anything. I mean, I'm not expecting the moon here. He has not done anything to help this team. There's nothing there. He's emptied the farm system on this team. He's done that, right? He has emptied the farm system, per se, for this team. And here we sit, and it's not a good team.
Well, they went all in. We say 2023. They
You
went
lost your
all
mic.
in.
You lost your mic.
I lost my mic.
You're using some other.
You
mic.
unplugged your earplugs and you swallowed your mic. Yeah.
What the, where'd your headphones go? Now you're not even on.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay.
Good. He can't argue with me now.
This is great. This is always a show like this. We've had the same problem the whole time, right? It's a black hole in the 789, right? It's a black hole.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Fine, 6, 7, 8, 9. But we're in a playoff spot right now. I'm just saying,
Okay, me and you are going to sign off, and you're going to come back as Jerry, and I'm going to come back as Jay, because I'm sounding just like you the last 2 months. Yeah. It kind of cracks me up because I feel like you guys want to argue with me, because when I take the side, you guys have been projecting for pretty much the whole season except for that first 2 weeks. Now I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. I don't want you to go the dark side. I don't want you to live like us.
I will always root for the Padres. I hope things go well. I hope they turn it around. My thing is, though, is I've started to get into the camp of they need a big fix. This is not a little tinkering, just a left fielder and a pitcher or a catcher. I think that makes them a better team, obviously, but I don't think it solves the problem. I don't see that solving. That's not enough. No.
Okay. We'll have to see how it plays out. Jack's still muted. We can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear Jack at all. So yeah.
I mean, this is a really good show.
This has turned out to be a really good show. Yeah.
All right. Let's look at the calendar to what's that. I still believe I'm keeping the faith.
You keep that faith.
Kansas
City and Washington. Can't hear you, Jack.
All right. So Kansas City, how are they playing? Are they playing okay? I have no idea.
Yeah, they're on a 5-game winning streak coming in. As one of the radio guys said, yeah, is this our luck this year that the Padres always seem to catch everybody at their highest peak?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got Kansas City Royals for 3 games, Nationals for 3 games. What are we hoping here, Jerry? We got to turn this thing around. We got to turn this ship around.
Well, I'd like to turn it around, but I think you got to start with small steps. I'm going to be about as negative as I usually can be, and I'll say 3-3.
Okay.
They're coming home. I'm hoping they turn it around. Merrill comes back. What is it? Friday? Is that right? Friday? When did he go out? He went out.
Days. He went
Saturday.
Out Saturday.
So he'll be back Sunday, actually, then, or Saturday or Sunday. I don't know how that works. I think they don't count Saturday. Yeah, so I think it would be Sunday. Anyway, they need him, and they need him to come back. I'm hoping it's like what was that baseball movie where the kid breaks his arm or whatever. Yeah, and all of a sudden he could throw 99 miles an hour or whatever. I'm hoping that Merrill got something knocked loose and straighten out the bat and everything. He's still my favorite player. I'm not going to knock him and everything. He's had a little bit of a rough stretch, but I am a Niebla. I know he talks about the pitchers. But I do like the way he comes across and says, "Hey, Jack,
what are you doing?"
You don't know.
Okay.
There he is. Oh, and there he goes. Oh, geez.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fine.
But it was really better when we couldn't see you, though. So.
But I can do that. I was going to say I was going to try and be positive.
Yeah.
And I
so
still
I'm going 3-3.
if you got to rise Tatis and Merrill come back hitting the way they're capable of hitting, and with Machado going, then I think Bogaerts and Sheets and Cronenworth, I think you're okay.
Yep.
Is it a great team? No, but can they do something in the playoffs? Can they make I think we all want them to make the playoffs, right?
I think they can.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm losing that faith.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
they have to start.
No,
turning it around.
the reason is too, guys, and very seriously, it's pretty compact, and you got teams like Cincinnati playing a lot better than they were. We're hanging on, and I get it. Right now, we are in the last spot, but we were the top spot of the wild card, and we had 5 games before we had to worry about it. And now we're down to the nitty gritty, and I know there's still a lot of baseball to be played, but
Tons of it.
I don't think it's as much of a given as I had hoped it was going to be about this time.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see. So Jerry says 3-3.
So we play the Royals and
The Nationals, I believe it is.
National in Petco, right?
At Petco.
We struggle with the Nationals. I don't know. I have no idea why, but we struggle with them. And
a lot of former Padres.
Their bullpen is worse than the Diamondbacks. They can't hold a lead.
Sure.
I'm going to say 5-1.
Oh shit! Okay.
I'm taking over the Jerry role. I'm going to be positive.
Right.
Man, I never knew I was that positive.
I didn't say 6-0.
Sorry, Oz. I know this is probably one of the few times I've even said 500, but yeah, I don't like the way we're playing.
Okay. Hey, listen, you got to speak your truth, Jerry. Okay, you got to speak your.
That's just it. I mean, I was positive when I thought there was reason for positivity, and I'm not seeing that right now. I'm not seeing reasons to be positive.
Which I have to hope that you're wrong in this
Oh,
instance.
of course. I hope they go 6-0 and put it right in the face. Yep.
If they are going to make a trade, they can't wait till the trading deadline. They got to do it now.
Well, that's the other thing. And Jay, I know you got to make your picks here, but one last comment to what Jack said. The growing consensus is that what is happening right now is making the trade environment nearly impossible.
It is, yeah.
Because there's so many teams bunched up. And look, everybody's looking at the Marlins. Everybody's looking at the Rockies. Is there really anybody there that you're going to go get? I know there's a few guys on the Rockies that I would love to get. There's a guy on the Marlins, Stowers, I would like to get. But everybody's going to want those guys. Sure. You know,
but Stowers has been.
I get it, but he's under control for 4 years. So that'd be.
But with who's that catcher for the Rockies?
San Diego kid, Goodman.
Yeah,
they ain't gonna trade Goodman.
You never know. You offer him a couple bucks.
Yeah,
like the Rockies.
All right,
we'll buy 20 season tickets and
6 games. I'm gonna say we're gonna win 2 series, 4-2.
And that would be good.
So I think that goes on the record as the first time maybe in the history of our picks that Jay has gone above me.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Positive. Believe in everything being good and fine.
I hope you guys are right. Oz, I'm sorry. I will try to be more positive in my thoughts and everything. But I'm worried. I am. I mean, I love my Padres, man. And the testament to the way I feel is I admittedly have turned off the game 4 times in the last 6 games. I have turned it off because I just can't. I can't watch bad baseball. I can't watch a team underperform. I can't watch a team with so many holes at the back. It reminds me of the old 2000 Padres when we all would sit there and say, if it doesn't get done in the first 4 guys, then you hope that the other guys maybe get a hit and get it back to the top of the lineup.
Bad storm.
Yeah,
I told you.
It was some bad times. I mean, it was tough. So yeah,
I'd be okay with Hung Sloth here, who says Bogart. I'd let Bogaerts lead off. I'd give it.
I absolutely agree with that. I've been saying it for a long time. I think Tatis is an awesome hitter, no matter where you put him. But I mean, come on. I mean, we need somebody to drive in runs. I mean, it can't just be Manny. So you know what? Let's give Bogaerts a chance to maybe just be a singles hitter.
How about Bogaerts?
I mean, that's kind of what he is right now. He's a single doubles hitter, right? You know. And maybe bring back some swagger with Tatis. You know,
you got to move Arise down to like 6. he can't be in the top 4 because he just doesn't walk.
Yeah. I could go with Bogaerts, Merrill, Tatis, Machado, or Machado, Tatis.
I think I'd leave Machado in the 3rd spot because
he's more bats. I know.
Yeah. Well, that and he's
a better hitter, I think, than Tatis.
But again, here we go. The problem is you mess with the top 4. Now, what do you do with the bottom 5?
Sheets,
it's the same problem.
Sheets is okay.
Bottom 4. Sorry, guys. I keep saying bottom 5. Bottom 4.
You
bottom
put him
4
right field, right? Because you can't hide. I don't know. Little league. Trying to think little league where you
get a right-handed hitter. Just that's all we need.
You need 4 Rudy Steins. If you're willing to take one for the team. That's what you need.
Oh man! All right. Well, that is gonna do it. The Padres still got to play today, so good luck to the Padres.
Garcia and Higgy.
Sure. I'd love to bring
Higgy. How's Higgy?
Higgy is doing nothing with them.
Yeah,
he's doing nothing with them.
And
I like Adelis Garcia, but I do believe he's got a history of being hurt.
Yeah,
a lot.
Plus, I
don't know his contract. I don't know his contract situation.
He didn't have a great year last year because he was on my fantasy team, and I didn't even keep him this year.
Yeah, I'd rather get Tyler Ward from the Angels.
Yeah. Well, but now the Angels are.
Yeah, now that's what I'm saying. It's getting tougher because
you needed to get him in like April because now they're like 500.
Yeah,
because they got to play the Yankees and everyone's beating the Yankees. So, Michael's here. I didn't see him.
Oh, hey, Michael.
No,
I'm sorry, Michael. I didn't see you there. I apologize.
You watch the Padre games too, and
man, I cannot believe
I'm not going to bring up
Michael.
0 for 29.
Come on, Jack. Jeez, that's just a low blow.
Hey, your shortstop. Hey, he failed to turn a double play.
Hey, Michael is dancing on clouds right now because Devers is no longer on the Red Sox.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. You think that's going to help the Giants? Obviously.
I mean, sure.
I think it leads to another problem, although it is funny. I know we're a Padres show here, but when Devers gets there, I'll do whatever I can.
Yeah,
that would work out with this team.
That would have
something that he didn't say to the Red Sox.
No. Well, clearly, there's organizational strife over there.
I'm sure. Again, Red Sox the last 5 years have kind of screwed themselves over the place. Their new CEO is terrible, GM, but. I think it leads to a little bit of a problem because they got Matt Chapman at third base. There's a Gold Glover. Like, what are they going to do? So, I'm interested to see how that plays out. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, if I'm a Red Sox fan, I'd be a little ticked off that he said, "Yeah, I'll play whatever you want," because they wanted him to play first base.
Be mad at Devers, be mad at the organization that jerked him around.
Well, again, they did. They should have talked to him and said, "Hey, are you okay with us bringing Bregman? You okay?"
Right, exactly.
There's a lot to be said to baseball players, especially ones that are as good as they are. And I'll use Bogaerts as the same example. Nobody wants to come in and start a new position because Bogaerts, while he didn't say much, did say it would have been nice to know so that I could have made the transition during spring training. Right. Before I got there, got my mind right. When you come and pop out and just say, "Hey, by the way, we're going to have you play second base," that's not fair to them. They're used to being excellent fielders, knowing where they're supposed to go and everything, and it's a distraction.
This is not old school baseball.
So I'll say the same thing about Devers too. I mean, I kind of side with him. It's like, wait a minute,
You signed me to a lifetime contract.
Yeah. And then you go sign Bergman, you know, and basically without saying anything, without consulting, you just kind of just said, we're going to put somebody else at third base. Well, what am I going to do?
Because we want a better.
We want you to play first base. What do you mean you want me to start playing first base? Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Michael, Jack, I'm going to start texting you during games. I can commiserate with you during the Padre games, like when Lockridge comes in.
Oh, you're going to have to backtrack on that, Michael. You're going to go look at the video, but that's okay. I'm in my world. That's fine.
That's a good place to end it tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us in the chat. Hung Sloth Oz, Michael, who else? We had a few other people in here tonight in the chat. Chip Rock.
We had a Dodger fan.
We had a Dodgers fan there. They show up every now and then because we're not their rivals. But thank you, everybody, for hanging out in the chat. Jerry, hopefully next week a little more positive. I mean, a little more positive.
I hope I'm.
Maybe there'll be a big. Maybe there'll be. Acuna's going to be on our team next and Sale. Yeah. So, that would you take that trade, Acuna and Sale?
Sure, they're not going to trade them.
Rumors are they're going to trade Sale because that's what you hear on the streets. That's what on the streets.
Sal's ain't going anywhere real soon because he's hurt. So I don't think anybody's going to take him while he's still hurt. So
he got hurt. He just pitched it a couple days ago.
Yeah, he pitched.
He pitched 120 innings.
Sorry, I heard you say Salas.
No, not Salas. No, Sale.
No. Sale.
Oh, Chris Sale. Okay, sorry.
But we're going to trade King?
Maybe.
Well, Atlanta's definitely got a difficult decision to make because they're us without the start.
Yeah.
So they're starting to get kind of deep now. You get to a certain point where you're like, okay, how much longer are we gonna, go before we don't do a little selling? Right now they're 11 games out and they're 6 games under 500. So, a lot's going to be said. Again, the difficulty of the trading deadline is because there's a lot of teams right now that don't have answers on whether they're going to go or not. So we shall see. We'll know a little bit more in about another month when you guys come out here.
Exactly. Well, we all more aware of the situation.
And there'll be no texting. Yeah.
Actually, that's the only way I'm going to talk to you guys.
Yeah. We'll all be sitting on the couch watching the game and texting. We'll be like teenagers. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. On that note, we'll see you all next time. Hasta luego and goodbye.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care.
Bye now.
Padres.